Let me introduce you into the science of crazy ideas and how it creates a new way of thinking about your business, your organization, the world around us. You will see how small changes in structure rather than culture can transform the behavior of groups, the same way a slight change in temperature can turn ice into flowing water. Let me start with the definition of a loonshot. A loonshot is a neglected project widely dismissed, written off as unhinged. That said, the most important breakthroughs come from loonshots. Let me showcase this with an example. What do you think when you hear Nokia? In the 1970s, Nokia was an industrial conglomerate mostly famous for its rubber boots and toilet paper. In the next 2 decades, they pioneered the first cellular network, the first car phone, the first GSM phone, and in 2000, Nokia became the most valuable company in Europe. Remember, they started with toilet paper. The CEO explained that the key was culture. You can have some bit of fun, you can make some mistakes, etc. It's all about the culture, right? In 2004, a handful excited Nokia engineers had some fun and created a new phone, internet ready, a color touchscreen, high resolution camera, and they added a crazy idea, an app store. The same management team, including the CEO, shut down both projects. I am sure you know what happened 3 years later. Those 2 crazy ideas were presented on a stage in San Francisco by latest Steve Jobs, Apple, and 5 years later, Nokia was irrelevant. What happened? When groups are small, everyone's stake in the outcome of the project is high. The perks or ranks, job titles, or the increase in salary are little compared to the high stakes. As teams and companies grow larger, the salary, future promotion become more important, and the teams start to rejecting crazy ideas, become more protective. That happened at Nokia. They made so much money, they had so much success, they wanted to keep that pot and stop taking risk. Why changing a winning team, they thought. Nokia mishandled the transition between the 2 phases. But how can you prevent this? First, the bad news. Those phase transitions are inevitable. All liquids freeze at some point. The good news is that when we understand the forces, we can manage the transition. For example, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit for our American friends. But in the winter we toss salt, which lowers the temperature at when water freezes, but it will freeze at some point. The 2 steps not to become the next Nokia is 1. Separate the phases. People responsible for developing the crazy ideas, call them artists, need to be sheltered from the soldiers responsible for the steady growth. Both groups can't succeed on their own. Both need each other. I call it the dynamic equilibrium. Number 2, dynamic equilibrium. As a leader, you must maintain the balance between the 2 groups that neither phase overwhelms. Artists and soldiers have to feel equally loved. This balance is often overlooked. The trap for most groups is that soldiers favor soldiers and artists favor artists. And one of the solutions you can use as a leader is to manage the transfer, not the technology. So explaining loonshots in 5 to 7 minutes is only to give you a taste what is possible. A taste for more. And I hope I can provide for this audience more articles and speeches and podcasts around this subject, and I hope to see you all back soon. What I want you to remember to become more successful in your business, career and organization is 1. Not to shoot off crazy ideas. 2. To recognize differences exist between the artists and the soldiers. 3. You as a leader must balance those two groups. As leaders, our responsibility is to create a Loonshot nursery, and I hope you will see your different teams from a different perspective. If you do so, you will succeed. To go deeper into the Loonshots, you should read the book from Safi Bakal, and it's available on many platforms like Amazon and Wordery, and I will put the link in the comments. Thank you for this quick listening on crazy ideas.